Hi, you're listening to the Love and Money podcast with Shakira, and today I'm going to talk to you about COVID-19 pneumonia and what's going on with that. So, as you know, pneumonia by itself is pretty serious. Some people have died from having pneumonia in different ages, older and younger ages. And now there's something called the COVID-19 pneumonia, meaning you have pneumonia and COVID-19 at the same time. So, I'm going to tell you what they're doing. They are working on a trial drug called Opaganib. This is by the pharmaceutical company called Red Hill Biopharma. And they've done studies, and what they concluded is that people who are on this trial drug, they require less oxygen and they're able to leave the hospital sooner. And so they discovered that within a 14-day period, that 15% of people no longer needed oxygen, and 86.4% of people were discharged from the hospital. So that's what this trial drug called Opaganib. So how Opaganib works, it inhibits the Delta variant in test tube experiments. So I find it interesting that they have this Delta variant in a test tube to begin with. Don't you find that curious? So they found that this trial drug, it inhibits the Delta variant in test tube experiments. And so how it works is it inhibits the enzyme spigosinin kinase 2. And this is an enzyme in cells. It's used by the virus to replicate. So the virus, it needs this specific enzyme to replicate. So if you block this enzyme, then the virus can no longer replicate. And so it's like a blocker. If you could just imagine a big red X going across, you need to get from point A to point B, and you need this enzyme to get there. So what this drug is doing is it's blocking this enzyme so that the virus does not replicate. And so that's how this trial drug works. And so that's what they're doing. They're working on new drugs with this with this disease. And so that is currently what they are working on. As far as COVID in general, as you know, there is the Alpha variant and the Delta variant. And they have concluded that the Delta variant is more transmissible and it makes people sicker. So, in other words, the Alpha variant is more lighter, and then the people that have the Delta variant, it becomes more severe. And so that's what they're concluding with these different variants as it pertains to COVID. They did a research study and they analyzed 43,000 patients, 43,338 patients to be exact. And what they concluded is that unvaccinated patients were 132% more likely to be hospitalized if they were infected with the Delta variant versus the Alpha variant. However, as you're aware, even people who get vaccinated end up becoming hospitalized if they are infected with the Delta variant. This is not all, but some. So, this is what they are seeing um, as far as it pertains to this whole COVID pandemic. And so, as far as it pertains to children, what they are seeing is that seizures may be the only symptom that you can see in children if they have COVID. That's what they are concluding, that seizures may be the only symptom of COVID-19 children. That children that tend to get sick from COVID, they tend to get sick less often than adults, and if they do become sick, it's less severe than in adults. And so this is what's going on as it pertains to COVID with the new trial drug specifically geared to COVID-19 pneumonia. So, as I stated before, after the person becomes infected with COVID and they're hospitalized, according to this study with this trial drug, within 14 days, the patient needs less oxygen, and 86.4% were discharged from the hospital. Within 14 days, 50% no longer needed oxygen, and 86.4% were discharged from the hospital. So, this is what they are studying right now. This is what they are coming up with right now. And this is the Love and Money podcast with Shakira. If you like this podcast, please share it with one other person. And please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the algorithm. Thank you for listening.